Welcome into Why So Sidious a Nerd podcast. We got another special guest, a first timer. This is Spidey at Spidey Collects. TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, go follow him. Good comic book content. And sir, thank you for coming on. How are you today?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me. Definitely excited to talk some comic books, some movies, all the whole 9 yards.
Absolutely. You how long you been doing TikTok?
I started in May of last year, and then I jumped onto Instagram around like September.
Gotcha. I knew you were pretty new, but you grew really fast. I think you already had confidence and content and plenty to talk about, plenty of like good points to discuss. So congratulations on that. I feel like I met you really early on and you grew so fast.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. This
Yeah,
whole
man.
journey's been a ton of fun. I always love these characters, so just talking about them, just makes me even happier. So
Yeah, there's no other like these group of characters. There's nothing else like it in the way. Excuse my voice, everybody. A little sick, by the way. Moving forward, that in the way that it's like the longest soap opera ever. You're
definitely.
invested in the same characters for decades. The characters don't change. A lot about them might change, but like they're still the same characters. So you keep following them.
Well,
So
unless you read Zeb Wells' Spider-Man run, but we don't have to talk.
we're not going there. Okay.
No, no.
Yeah, I was curious because our talking points today for you guys is Spider-Man Brand New Day, which we've brought up a lot, but we've been focusing so much on Doomsday that it's like Spider-Man is just going under the radar. Even the marketing for it, there has not been a trailer, which is so weird. It's coming out in like 4 or 5 months.
Yeah,
I think they're just relying on word of mouth because so many of us are going to go see it, even if there was never a single trailer. but,
definitely.
but anyway, there's that. And then we'll talk about newer comics, like within the last 5 years or so. We're going to talk about some of the best that's been coming out there. And Zeb Wells that's one of the newer writers for Spider-Man, isn't it? Or at least within the last few years.
Yeah, he was in charge of the book. I think he got on in 2019. He was there till like late 2024, early 2023, so around that era.
And not good, huh? Not recommended.
Nah, it's he does stuff with the character that doesn't really seem, like Peter Parker. We see a lot of interesting things get thrown in, like Norman Osborn no longer is infected with the Goblin
Goblin.
persona. Peter and Norman are working together. Peter gets a glider in an
Oh,
Oscorp suit. Just a lot of stuff that doesn't really work.
didn't Zeb Wells do Gang War?
He did. Yeah, that was one of the better parts of that run for sure. And Zeb Wells definitely has some good Spider-Man stories from the past. But I don't know, just him being the main voice of
Yeah.
the book just didn't work out.
I never read Gang War, but I thought it looked really good. Just the premise of it looked super exciting.
Definitely.
But I also heard it wasn't very good, though, because I haven't really heard anything about Zeb Wells' Spider-Man being good.
The
Gang
main
War is no exception. It wasn't good.
it's all right. Uh, it's cool to get all those characters involved. Especially like, we just had Devil's Reign. I don't know if you're familiar with
Yep.
Chip Zdarsky and Daredevil. So that was a great street tier story, at least for newer readers. I feel like that definitely handled it much better than Gang War. Um, it kind of just went on a little longer than I expected, and some of the tie-ins kind of feel a little weak, like they don't really need to be notable. But yeah, it's
Are
kind
there
of a
any
mess.
tie-ins for you in any comics that are like super strong tie-ins? Because usually they're not that great, to be honest, but some of them stand out.
To be completely honest, I haven't been, picking up singles for too long. DCKO is one of the first big events where like I'm in on it at the start and I have access to get everything. I haven't been getting all the one shots though, or at least all the tie-ins, just because I hear a lot about it on social media, especially with some of my fellow creators. They talk about that like the DC side more than I do. Um, but there's a few, where it's like it's a fun read, but it's I could totally be reading DCKO by itself without knowing anything else that's really going on.
Yeah, that's usually the case. A few standouts in my mind are like the Secret Invasion tie-ins. If
Okay, yeah.
those, I think those straight up made the event better. Yeah, but not a lot, or not a lot of them. That did make the event a lot better, but there's not a lot of tie-ins like that. Anyway, we'll get to newer comics again later, but let's start with Brand New Day. It's going to be fun to dive deeper into this, the way we've been doing Doomsday every other episode. But just initially, how excited are you? How different do you think it'll be? Because this is a new director. This is the first MCU Spider-Man without John Watts directing that. So Destin Daniel Cretton, who just did the Wonder Man, very highly criticized or whatever, people liked it, and
Yep.
he did Shang-Chi.
Yep.
So looking for hand-to-hand combat. It looks like it's going to be grounded back to regular Spider-Man. And in general, what's the hype level for you?
Hype levels are all-time high. I was actually really disappointed we didn't get any trailer during the Super Bowl. My friends were messing around with me, like every time I would go to like get some food or something, they're like, the Spider-Man trailer's on, and I'd run over. And but no, that was a little disappointing. But just like between the director, the creative pace that they're going towards, getting back to grounded level Spider-Man stories, and just Peter being alone and having to face all this stuff by himself. That's kind of like where the core of Spider-Man stories, at least for me, like they're the best of the best at that point. And I'm excited to see him encounter Punisher. We might see Hulk. I don't really know what's going on with that.
Well, that's confirmed. Punisher and Hulk
Okay.
are straight up in there, which is nuts.
Yeah, I'm definitely, and we talked about this earlier. There are supposedly going to be 9 different villains that we'll see. I'd imagine that they're going to do some sort of crime fighting montage in the start, where we'll get like 3 or 4 villains that we could call out from the comic books. It will be cool, but there's a lot of ideas that they're throwing around, so it's a little nerve-wracking. But I think the new director, what he's done in the past, I think he can handle it.
Yeah, I think so too. The only gripe I had with Shang-Chi is the overly mystical dragon stuff towards the end. At that point, it took me out of it. But everything else, I thought that movie was awesome.
Definitely.
The amount of effort he puts into, or I guess it would be the choreographer. So I kind of wonder if he hired the same choreographer for Shang-Chi, because those fight scenes were sick. And seeing Spider-Man on some street level fights like that would be badass. Really excited they're doing practical. Like this is the first time Holland was swinging around. Remember, he even got hurt on set.
Yep.
I think that's going to turn out so good. It's weird to think we haven't really had that at all from an MCU Spider-Man. Practical effects, but like swinging scenes. I don't think that we've ever had like him swinging from building to building in like that majestic way that Toby and Andrew would do in their movies every time they went somewhere.
Yeah, I mean they did it. I think they did. Yeah, they did one in Far From Home. At the end of the movie, that's kind of just like a staple. Like you got to have like a swinging scene.
Yeah.
But like you said, the everything practical. In my opinion, I feel like Andrew's movies have the best cinematography, best swinging scene.
Yeah. Uh-oh, we got some technical difficulties. Are you back?
There we go. You good?
Yep,
Sorry
good
about
to
that. Yeah, like everything that they've done for the Andrew movies, I feel like it's off the charts compared to compared to Toby's, it's definitely gonna be better. But
choreography wise, yeah, I agree.
Everything just looks beautiful.
His swinging and him like throwing down with like the lizard in the school, I think about, was done really well. Really cool, creative Spidey action. Very different from Tobey Maguire's. Although I think probably still my favorite 1v1 might be Goblin versus Toby at the end of number 1. That was so visceral. They were just throwing down.
Yeah, crazy. I rewatched that not too long ago, and I agree. It's definitely one of the better scenes from Toby.
It's really cool. Choreography wise, him versus Doc Ock was really cool. Up and down the buildings. A couple scenes were really good. But I'm excited. And what we're gonna do here is these trailer leaks came out. And they're making some buzz. They could be true, and we're gonna kind of discuss them as if they are true. So take that with a grain of salt. But here's these trailer detail leaks because there's some pretty big stuff in here. Um, One of the big things is Spider-Man's going to be fighting the Hand in the trailer, and that alone makes me think Daredevil's going to be in Spider-Man. Because if it's in New York and you got Kingpin shutting down vigilantes, doing his Devil's Reign thing, I don't see how he's not going to bleed into the Spider-Man story. Like, he's the mayor of New York, and
Yep,
if you got the Hand there in the Spider-Man movie, and Kingpin has control of New York, how the hell does Daredevil not show up? I don't get that. So,
definitely.
and he was in the last movie. He was in the last movie, so that would be so epic. Would you like to see Daredevil, or are we getting too stuffed at that point?
I mean, yeah, I'd love to see him. I think any kind of interaction between more characters, in a Spider-Man movie is great. Like the foundation of the MCU is getting a movie like Iron Man and seeing characters like Nick Fury or Black Widow showing up, and just like these small characters playing into other bigger
Yeah,
stories. I feel like that's definitely super important for Marvel. But even with what the direction they're taking with Born Again, with his black suit and everything, I don't know if you've read Shadowland.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, that could possibly, it could be like a mix of Shadowland and Devil's Reign. But I'd love to see
That'd
it
be so sick. Yeah, because it really feels like they're building to some grounded event with all that stuff. Because I mean, ultimately, defeating Kingpin at this point is going to take a lot more than one character like Daredevil or Spider Man. You'd imagine.
for
We'll
sure.
see. We'll see. But but also just the fact that Spider Man fighting ninjas, I think that sounds pretty cool too.
Oh yeah, and the
And
the
then
shot that they had was, I would imagine you saw the leak. The shot that they had was really cool.
I'm starting to question if that leak was true. So I don't know. It doesn't. I don't know if it lines up with the details, but I thought it was true at first, and then I heard stuff that made me think it wasn't true. I don't know, maybe an AI trailer. Do you think it's real? Because it could be real.
It's Now that you mentioned AI, it's so hard, to differentiate what's real and what's not. I know, like in the past year, when any leaks came out, the first thing that comes to your mind is that it's AI, especially with how like how advanced everything is getting.
And
Um,
another thing, there was I think there was some dialogue in that trailer that was ripped out of another movie, and there's some weird voices for the Punisher. You never know. Maybe the footage was real, but the audio was not real. Who
yeah,
knows?
yeah,
Yeah, you never know. But and if it was real, I didn't think that trailer was much of a banger. It seemed like a pretty low key kind of basic trailer, but you know, I don't know. Maybe it's true. Maybe it's not.
yeah. It's really hard to decipher what it's going to be like from a leak, especially the one that we saw. I mean, there's a couple shots that definitely caught my eye, but I agree. Like some of the voice lines from like Tom didn't really sound like him, so there's a couple
Right.
things that doesn't really line up.
Yeah. It's stupid. We just haven't had a trailer yet. It's coming out super soon.
Yeah,
Okay, here's another detail. Tombstone, who's supposed to be in the movie, it says in the trailer he's going to explain some kind of 3 life cycle for totems or spiders or something. And also, it says that Peter's going to have organic webs. You saw that?
I did
So
see that. Yes,
it's like it's like he's evolving. It's like, and you're talking about the life cycles. That reminds me of JMS. Did you read that one?
one of my favorite runs.
Same.
Love JMS.
They mythologize Spider-Man's powers and make it much deeper, much bigger, and that's what kind of sounds like maybe happening here. If we're talking about life cycles, organic webs, and then another trailer detail here is that when you see him and Bruce Banner talking, they're gonna talk about mutations. They're gonna say something about mutations, which that's so crazy. Like, are we really getting X-Men in this? Do you think Sadie Sink is Jean Grey?
Her role has been all over the place. Like I remember, like even a couple months ago, I think she tweeted out something like, "Just because my hair's red doesn't mean I'm MJ," or something like that.
Yeah.
So I still have no clue who she's gonna be playing. Like I saw, um, she's playing a shapeshifter. I forgot what her name is, but she's in the JMS run, and it's like Shartha or something like
It's ringing a
that.
bell. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that Jean Grey. the new MJ. It's all up in the air. But if she was Jean Grey, that'd be really cool.
Yeah. It's just when I first heard that, I was like, no way. But it's just for some reason it's gaining more and more traction. People are really feeling like, and now you have this trailer leak that him and Bruce Banner are talking about mutations. So now I'm starting to believe that maybe some X-Men Easter eggs seeds will be planted here. And that just blows my mind to think of that.
I think it's just the MCU trying to, if that
Yeah.
was true, the MCU just trying to build for what's to come next. I heard the next era of Marvel movies is all going to be X-Men related.
Mutant related. Yeah. That should happen. But so strange. Like Spider-Man, even that himself, he was, if you asked me before Civil War came out, Captain America 3, like it felt so absurd to think of Spider-Man being introduced in the MCU. And then he was introduced in a Captain America movie. Like that's crazy. If you told me that 4 years before that movie, I'd be like, bullshit.
Yep.
And that's kind of how this X-Men thing feels. So even if I'm not saying full-blown X-Men, even just mutants being introduced, it seems too crazy. So once it
Too
happens,
good to be true at some
yeah,
points.
I'll be stoked if it does. So I really wonder who the main villain is going to be. Like what's the real conflict here? I wonder.
I think from day one, a lot of people said Mr. Negative, but I think the
Heard that.
most confirmed thing we've seen is Scorpion. But I can't really see him as like the main
Right?
villain.
I can see Mr. Negative as a main, but we haven't heard anything about him since then.
Yeah, I think we saw that one Inner Demons logo, but then I think I saw something recently that's the Punisher's new logo in his new one-shot special. So I'll be interested to see if that makes any connections to the movie.
I wonder, is that supposed to come out before or after Spider-Man?
That's a good question. I honestly don't know, but I know it's coming out this summer, I believe.
I'm gonna look it up because to not be in Doomsday, him or Spider-Man or Hulk, but Punisher's getting his own special. He's not going to be in Daredevil season 2, but he's going to be in a Spider-Man movie. That's so bizarre.
Very, very.
I'm going to check the release date. Yeah, because you got to wonder if his story will give Spider-Man context, or will the Spider-Man movie give his story context, and then it'll be after. But it just says mid 2026. So
okay.
So I guess we
haven't heard too much about that as a whole, really.
I have a feeling this might be the darkest Spider-Man movie we've had. Like you have Punisher in there, and the Hand, and Peter's lonely. Everyone forgot who he was. He's going to be trying to figure himself out. This could get pretty intense.
I'm all for it. Like it's a general trope of Spider-Man fans that like some of his best stories come from when he's at his lowest, which kind of sucks that it has to be that way, but it's like the Parker luck that the fans always toss around. But yeah, everything's setting up like what he knows going into it, stuff going around in New York City, even with Kingpin, it'll definitely shape up to be something interesting.
Yeah. Speaking of everyone liking stories at the character's lowest, you've read Animal Man by Grant Morrison?
I haven't, no, but I've
check
been told I need to.
Yeah, it'll address that specific thing. Like, why do people like that? Why do people want that?
Okay.
And in a very creative way, it addresses it.
Does it break the fourth wall in any way, or is it?
Yeah, it's like the craziest fourth wall break, but can't spoil anything else. It's just a bizarre. It's like the ending of this is, I wouldn't say climactic or epic, but it is a crazy twist ending that is mind blowing.
Okay.
And you'll see. But
Cool.
yeah. Anything else? Well, speaking of the Punisher, today they confirmed the title of the Punisher special, which is simply titled the Punisher One Shot Special, which I think is a play on words because the dude is a gun wielder. So, like one shot, you're dead. But that's cool. I don't care when they release new titles. That'd be cooler to get a release date.
Yeah.
But God, my last question not for you, but in general, in my head, my last question is Daredevil going to be in the movie? I guess two questions. Who is the main villain? Is it Kingpin? I don't know, but Mr. Negative, maybe. What about Hulk? Let's just talk about Hulk before we move on to comics, because Hulk sucks in the MCU lately. Like his character does. You think he's going to come back as the Hulk that fans love here?
Well, that's what I've been seeing with everything Mr. Negative related. I saw like he might twist Bruce's head, taking out that Professor Hulk persona out of his mind. Um, I saw some theories that they could be taking like the Feral Hulk. I believe that's what the newer run is called, where Bruce Banner is separated from Hulk, and Hulk's just running rampant. I feel like that might be a little too new for MCU to adapt that, but I don't know. As long as we're getting a change and we see a Hulk that we saw in Age of Ultron, I'm all for it. Professor Hulk is just not it.
He's not it. If mutation is being brought into the MCU, that would give Bruce Banner a better reason for being there. Oh, and the fact that maybe he was Hulk while Doctor Strange did the spell.
Oh,
Therefore, when he switched back to Banner, Banner still remembers Spider-Man.
yeah,
Um, and it's crazy to think of them interacting because they've been in the MCU for so long, but we have never once seen those two interact on screen together. So
good point. Very
that'll
good
be
point.
that'll be really cool to see that in general, and especially if they're talking about mutations and with the life cycles and the stuff like that, the organic webbing. Like, I wonder if they're going to play on Peter being a mutant. Like, if it's going to be like the JMS run, they'll ask the question, like, yeah, the spider bit you, but was your DNA already kind of tailored for that? Like some divine purpose where that spider bit you, but if it could have bit anybody, but it
But it
bit
wouldn't have done
you
anything.
and it wouldn't have done anything to them. Yeah, it did it to you because of some other purpose, like a mutation,
Yep.
something like that. That would be so sick because the lab bros part about it, the Hulk part about it feels forced and they just want to correct the Hulk and just forced. But the Bruce Banner side of it, the lab bros side of it, seems like that could fit right into a Spider-Man movie. So that's cool.
100%. I think in even that, Peter and Bruce interacting, I feel like the MCU has to show at least the viewers to like people who don't read comics about how smart Peter is. I feel like that's definitely underrated, both in the movies and the comics. Like he's
True.
he's not like Illuminati level like genius, but
But
he's
right under. Yeah.
yeah, he's there for sure.
Yeah. Like adult Peter Parker, would probably be in the Illuminati after
Oh,
another
for
10
sure.
years of wisdom growing.
Definitely.
Yeah. Okay. Well, for now, that wraps it up for Spider Man Brand New Day. Super excited. I have a feeling this will be the best out of the MCU Spider Man movies. It'll just be hard to top the nostalgia and that wow factor of No Way Home.
Yep. I
Yeah.
agree. I yeah, totally think this says it has the pieces. We just gotta, hopefully it all just mashes together.
Yeah, and the one and Destin Daniel Cretton is really good with characters. Like I loved Trevor Slattery and Wonder Man and those. It's not even an action series, this Wonder Man show, but a great character study of someone struggling on their on to success and done so well. I think Spider Man's in the right hands, man.
Oh, for sure.
So yeah. All right, let's talk about some newer comics coming out.
Cool. Cool.
Um, like if let's stick to like 2020s, for the most part, but
Awesome.
what would you say are some of the absolute peak best that have come out in the last 5, 6, 7 years? And obviously, we got absolute Batman, Ultimate Spider-Man, the absolute Wonder Woman. There's some. Would you say actually, like right now, the current, especially for maybe DC, but maybe Marvel too, but currently singles coming out are better than they've been for a while overall. Like there's just more good series coming out right now.
I would say on the DC side, yes. Marvel, I'm not too sure. I mean, the Ultimate Universe has been great. It's definitely gotten a lot of people like myself under reading new comic books. Like the Ultimate Spider-Man series got me interested, but Ultimate Wolverine like got me into an LCS. Like Wolverine as the Winter Soldier, like that's a
That's
super
really
dope
cool.
idea.
Yeah.
So that's I just feel like DC's been able to grow off of their first couple singles. At least the Ultimate Universe, Ultimates is great, which is like the main story for like the new Ultimate Universe. But Ultimate Spider-Man's dipped a little bit in quality. Ultimate Wolverine, some people don't like. Um, but DC's killing it. DC's definitely killing it.
Where is Ultimate Spider-Man at right now with singles? Because I know
It's
Hickman's stopping at 24, 25.
yeah, the last issue comes out next week. The last issue.
Ah, the finale. So, and it hasn't been as good the last few issues?
I would say up until issue 20, like we had 4 issues left. We already knew it was ending at some point, but I feel like it just wasn't building enough. If you've read
Ah,
Hickman's stories, he loves world building, and at some point in the story, he was focusing like it didn't really feel like a Spider-Man story anymore. We were, we were seeing Uncle Ben and J. Jonah Jameson trying to expose Kingpin
yeah.
for everything he does, and then we get some story with Harry Osborn and Gwen with the Mysterios and all that stuff. Like every idea they brought into the book, super awesome. But I just feel like the way they continued it has been a little lackluster. And even the last issue, issue 23, it was a good issue, but it's just like, how are they going to wrap all this up? So we'll just have to see. The book's been delayed for almost 3 months now, the final issue.
That's a bummer, man. That because it started off so strong.
Yep.
And it's Hickman. Usually he starts slow and then builds to something awesome.
Yep.
But usually those Hickman things don't just have 25 issues. So
Yeah.
too bad, man. Too bad. I wonder if that's his decision or Marvel's decision. Like, are they just rushing Hickman to do a bunch of projects? Because he's doing all these smaller projects. He's stopping at 25 here. Alien versus Predator, just 4 issues. Like, give that guy a 12 issue Alien verse Avengers. Give that
Oh,
guy a
for sure.
12 issue full on thing, and that would be epic, just incredible. Like, don't cut him short anymore because I wanted to see that Spider-Man run go on and on. It's like one of my favorite runs. If it continued the quality of the first like 10, 12 issues, um, actually, I shouldn't say that. Volume 1 was amazing. Volume 2 got slower, and then Volume 3 I thought picked it up again with that Craven stuff. I thought
Yeah.
that was really cool. But if
Yeah.
it stayed that high quality, it would have been one of the best Spider-Man runs by far.
Oh, I agree. And I was talking to someone about this. If you're comparing it to like Absolute Batman, I wish, like, I feel like in Absolute Batman wise, like those issues have been continually getting better and better. We saw like a little dip in issues 7 and 8, the Mr. Freeze arc. I wasn't too big of a
Agreed.
fan of that stuff. But the Bane arc was phenomenal.
Crazy.
Um, and those trade paperbacks have been flying off the shelves because it's the hot thing right now. Even
Yeah.
people who don't consume comic book media on the regular, they know about Absolute Batman. Um, and I think it's great for new readers. Like 2024 was such a great year with Ultimate Spider-Man in the beginning, and then the Absolute Universe. It's just great for new readers to jump onto single issues. Um, but at least where I'm at, I'm starting to go back to trades. I feel like,
Yeah.
especially being in college, I don't have the disposable income to go to the LCS every week and pick up fat stacks of books. Um,
Same.
yeah,
It's tough. Trades,
yeah,
plus it's a more complete story. You don't flip through ads. They're more durable. They fit on the shelf nicely.
yep, definitely, yeah.
Absolute Batman. The Bane got so like it's good, but it got so gnarly, dude.
Oh yeah,
Like so gnarly. Some crazy body horror. Bane's gross
oh yeah.
sometimes.
Eyes coming out of his shoulder, and
Yeah. What do you think the Joker is going to be like?
that's a good question. They had that Arc M one shot, which is really cool. I don't really know though. Like his whole persona is like throwing me off. I don't know what to believe.
Yeah, I'm just thinking if Bane is that grotesque, evil, like what is this Joker going to be like? I'm scared. He hasn't even spoke, and I'm scared. And I think he might have said one word at the end of Absolute Batman
Oh
1,
yeah.
Volume 1. I don't know. What do you think? Batman, Wonder Woman, or Superman, or Martian Manhunter, or Flash, or Green Lantern? Who has the best absolute title? If it is Batman, who's your second favorite?
I think it's Batman for sure. But I haven't been up to date on Superman. I liked Flash for a little bit, but that kind of dipped in quality for me a little bit. I dropped Flash around issue 7, I believe. Um, well, Wonder Woman's great. I love Absolute Wonder Woman though.
Does it continue? Will volume 2 be just as good as volume 1 or close?
I think yeah, definitely.
Cool. Superman, I thought was the sleeper that no one talked about, but I really liked the Superman one as well. I had a good time with it. Really loved the art. I think the best art is in the Superman one. And then Martian Manhunter is coming. I ordered that in December, and it's still not here. It's like I don't think it's being ordered because it was going out of print, right? You couldn't
Yeah,
even get that volume 1 trade. I don't know if you can unless you spend $30. I don't know, but I ordered it and it just freaking hasn't come yet. Still waiting to read that. I'm hearing really good things.
I've seen some talk that that trade is hard to find. That's like one of the most like psychologically engaging books I've read,
Hmm.
between the art and just like figuring out what the Martian's trying to, I guess, convey to like to the universe, I guess.
Okay.
Um, I've heard a lot of people say like when they read it, they don't know what's going on at all, which I can totally understand. Like there's so much happening, it's just hard to consume it all. Um,
Interesting.
I'm definitely gonna reread it because I was one of those people.
For sure.
Uh, but it was half of it for me was I that was the first Martian Manhunter book I've ever read.
Yeah,
So
he like
like
doesn't have any books, you know?
yeah, and like I didn't know if there was stuff I was missing from his lore that like pops up in the Absolute book. So yeah,
You know,
it's great, but
DC has always done a great job of giving us a fresh, modern origin story for a number of characters. Marvel doesn't, for example, like where you could do a Spider-Man Blue, Daredevil Yellow. There's a couple books of Doom, but DC does it way better. The only problem is we don't have one single good Martian Manhunter just story, origin, anything like who's Martian Manhunter. I don't have one book that I could point someone to and say, "You want to know about Martian Manhunter? Read this." And that's a problem, man, because he's such a cool character. I think he has a cult following, and people love Martian Manhunter. But we don't have any books on him.
I think one of his highlights, at least for people in general, is Justice League Unlimited show. Like
Okay,
that's where people like saw him the most, or at least the people I've talked to, like that's where he's like the most talked about. But yeah, I don't know any Martian Manhunter runs that
all
are
right,
notable to pick up.
yeah. Um, Another one that I got coming in is One World Under Doom. Did you read any of that?
I haven't, no, but I did hear good stuff about it.
Yeah, I'm excited. I had to do it because we got Doctor Doom coming to the big screen this year, man. So I want to read all the Doom I can. There's that omnibus that came out a few years ago that's already out of print that collects like all of Doom stories, the first story, like all the important stories, like decades of Doom. And that is like my white whale omnibus. That would be a fun one to read.
I didn't know that drop, but that does sound really cool.
Yeah, it was a long time ago, and I was tracking the price for a while. I was like, I'm not going to be able to spend 100 on this. Like a year later, it's just gone. You got to spend 300-400 maybe.
It's the Marvel omnibuses. That's my only problem with Marvel. Like I'll be a Marvel fan through thick and thin. I personally I'm a street tier reader. I feel like Marvel has their street tier handled, or at least for the most part. Um, but omnibuses, some of their omnibuses are just impossible to find. Like they're incredibly bad with reprints.
Yeah. Okay. Outside of absolutes and ultimates, what have been some really good titles coming out? What about Matt Fraction's Batman? Have you been on that?
I've been reading that. It's been all right. I think the first 3 issues were really solid,
Ah, okay.
but I'm not saying it's dipping in quality. I feel like it's losing me a little bit. It's just like it's a good story, but it's not something I have to read every month.
Okay. Whereas when Volume 1 came out, people were like, this is the best Batman ever.
Yeah,
So I have Volume 1. That's one of the few singles I did pick up, and Volume 2 of that trade or of that series.
it's a fun series. It's good to get onto like a basic Batman story for any new readers. But if you've read a lot of Batman, you don't necessarily like need to pick it up. Um, but a great Batman run that came out last year, and they're dropping a
Dark
trade.
Patterns.
Yes, yeah,
Ah. Can't wait to
I
read
love
that.
Dark Patterns.
Haven't read it. Yeah, the trade's coming out in March, and it's a nice thick 12-issue trade. Man, I miss that. I
Oh
miss
yeah,
especially when events were 12 issues and they didn't feel like just a small chapter. Like your Hush, your Long Halloween, like those are all thick, nice 10 to 12 issue book. So I'm really excited to pick that one up.
Oh
What's
yeah.
it about?
So it's ground level detective Batman. There's 4 different arcs where he's paired up against villains that aren't talked about that much. I believe there's some new villains in there as well, but it's kind of like psychological horror with just classic detective crime fighting, and it's got Hayden Sherman on it who does Absolute Wonder Woman, and his
Hmm,
paneling is off the charts. Like
nice.
his 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 pieces on the full page shots are just so sick. He's in terms of paneling, he's one of my favorites. Hayden Sherman's one of my favorites for sure.
Nice. What about the Ryan North Fantastic Four?
I have not read that, unfortunately, but
Okay.
I did hear good stuff about it.
Heard good stuff about that. Yeah. How about any other huge standouts within the last 5 years that are just good, Marvel or DC?
Well, I think even outside of that, I think Image is killing it right
Oh yeah.
now. Um, Image, it's for someone who wants to get into comic books, they obviously want to read the superheroes that they all know and love, but there are so many great Image books that are coming out right now that are just flying under the radar for just like casual people who read. Like like Transformers.
Daniel
It's
Warren Johnson. Heard that's
Yes,
amazing.
yes. Transformers by DWJ, such a great 24 issue run, and even with Robert Kirkman and Dan Mora continuing to build off that series, they're doing a great job.
Oh
Um,
yeah. Have you read Predator versus Spider-Man?
I have, yes.
Is it good?
I really enjoyed it. I That was coming out during like all the Godzilla Marvel tie-ins.
Yeah, all these
I
monster mix-ups.
Yeah, I read a couple of those.
You're
They're
gonna have
like,
Freddy and Jason in a Marvel comic soon. Watch.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, but those
Versus the
stories were
Punisher.
fun. They're fun, but like you don't need to read them. The Jason Aaron Thor versus Godzilla was really cool.
Oh, I didn't know he did that. That sounds cool.
Yeah, as a one shot, that was a fun story. The Spider Man one was okay. It was like the idea they build it off of, like basically Godzilla gets the symbiote and he's like terrorizing New York. The Avengers one was awful. That was like it felt like a sitcom episode where we're getting a bunch of like interviews from the rest of the Avengers. But at least for crossovers, Spider-Man versus Predator, definitely fun. Gets all of New York involved. We kind of see like not only just Spider-Man, but like Mary Jane and J. Jonah Jameson have to deal with all these predators roaming around New York. Um, it's like in the middle of this like heat stroke in New York, so like there's a huge blackout. Everyone's kind of just left to fend for themselves. I believe it's a 4 issue run, might be 5, but it's really fun.
What about Predator versus Wolverine?
I didn't read that one.
Me neither.
I got to read that one. And did they make a Predator versus Black Panther? I
Oh, I
believe.
think you're right, actually. Or they are going to, maybe. I think
Yeah.
that rings bells. I think one of the best comics in the 2020s, at least that I could think of, is Zdarsky's Daredevil. That was
Oh, yep.
2020s, I think. But
Yep.
that that Daredevil run has the best art out of any Daredevil run for me. Caquetto is so savage on that. It's like he's at the top of his game. I love his
Definitely.
Spider-Man. So when I found out Hickman and Caquetto were doing that Ultimate Spider-Man, that was just like the dream team, dude. Hickman's got to be my favorite writer in the game. Caquetto up there, top 5 art. I don't know, but that series was awesome. I think story-wise, Bendis has the best Daredevil series, but Zdarsky had a great story, badass Daredevil, good Punisher, good Spider-Man, great Kingpin, and good event building up to the Devil's Reign. I thought that was one of the best things to come out of comics, recently.
Oh, for sure. I still got to read Bendis's Daredevil as
You
well. Like
do.
I got to read the trade for volume 7 of Daredevil. I still got to read Devil's Reign. And then there's 3 more trades after that, I believe. It's like Daredevil and Elektra, I believe.
Yeah.
But yeah, Caquetto, awesome. Zdarsky has definitely rose up the ranks for me for writers in general, and I love to see
True.
him. I think he's doing like the main Marvel event for this summer, Armageddon. So like
Oh, I haven't
he's
heard
in
of that.
charge of all that. So I feel like we're definitely in the right hands, but Zdarsky is great.
And Zdarsky's doing Captain America run that's going currently that everyone's loving. Have you read that?
I am up to the fourth issue. I believe there's 6 out right now.
And is it good?
I enjoy it. Yeah, it's fun. It's a new reimagining of Cap in a modern day. And Marvel's kind of releasing new runs for like there's an Iron Man run that just got released by Joshua Williamson. That
Hmm.
first issue was really solid. So I feel like they're building up for like modern iterations of your favorite characters, but like we talked about earlier, DC has a bunch of great starting points, for a bunch of these characters. Marvel, you kind of just have to stick with them, and
Yeah.
you're like expected to know what happened to them
Just
in
get
the
on the
70s.
train. It's moving.
Yeah, so it's good to get like a new like reimagining of. It's not like an origin, but the character, and it's kind of just like they're dropped into like this new New York, and that's kind of how they have to handle it.
Yeah. I was looking. Zdarsky Captain America Volume 1 doesn't drop until June. Oh, that's a bummer.
Okay.
But that's canon, right? It's not like a mini series
Yeah,
outside
it's
of.
canon. Yep.
Right on. Yeah, man. And what else? Because I can't think of any. Some of my favorite eras are still like 2000 to 2012. DC had their best era with. I'm not saying Infinite Crisis is the best event, but it's one of my favorite events. But everything taking place in and around that event, because you had Blackest Night, Final Crisis, Jeff Johns' Green Lantern, Jeff Johns' Flash, Grant Morrison's Batman at that time, Wonder Woman killing Maxwell Lord, starting off this like dark era. That whole era of DC is so good. And I think the same about, well, from like Bendis all the way to Hickman, Marvel, Bendis's New Avengers, Secret, Civil War, Secret Invasion, Siege, the way the events bled in and out of that was beautiful. That's how I miss that kind of structure for Marvel and DC Comics, where they commit to a plan for a long term thing. DC's rebooting every other half year. Got a new event all of a sudden, then we're going to do a new reboot into some all in, and then the all new, and then the rebirth, and then the absolute. Like, I really miss how events actually changed the other titles. Well, they could tell their own stories. Like, he didn't see anything bleed into Batman, Grant Morrison much. It was very isolated, but still, in like a Bendis, the New Avengers pages, everything that happened in Civil War played directly into dozens of issues there, and then Secret Invasion, dozens of issues there. It's like they do it like the MCU, phase 1 through 3 anyway, does it.
Yeah.
Building a macro story within, a lot of little micro stories, individual character titles, but that macro story plays a role into the whole universe. I really miss that because I don't really see that in comics anymore. It's kind of gone away.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that new Avengers run. That's definitely like one of the eras I want to get into. It's like because it's new Avengers. Then I believe there's a couple Epic collections. I mostly for like older Marvel stories. I mostly collect Epic collections. I believe
Nice.
there's 3 Epic collections for New Avengers, and then is it Civil War next? And then
It's New Avengers starts with Disassembled. Civil War is soon after. Civil War is close to the beginning of Bendis's New Avengers.
okay,
Then Secret Invasion, then Siege.
okay,
And then it's still Bendis on New Avengers, but it turns into the heroic age, and in my opinion, just isn't as good
okay.
for a while. Then Hickman takes it up, and then that's just great stuff. Hickman Avengers and New Avengers. You read all that?
No, I'm really behind on Avengers stuff. Only no, I believe that's Jason Aaron. I'm thinking of Jason Aaron Avengers.
Yeah.
But yeah, I haven't read any of the Hickman stuff, but I
You're in
got
for a
I got
treat.
Marvel
This stuff's
Unlimited,
good.
so
Yeah, especially if you are excited for Doomsday. That's going to be beautiful for you to read.
okay.
It's going to be cool. Have you heard about the opening scene in Doomsday is going to be Spider-Man's Toby's universe and an incursion with the X-Men universe?
I saw that. I feel like that would just be like so
Crazy.
crazy. Like, it's a lot of these people, like a lot of these fans' childhoods. Like that would be a great way to pull us in. Especially how in Infinity War it started off with Thanos, dropping Loki, where it's like, oh crap, like this is for real. So I feel like something like that could definitely give the same kind of emotion or effect. But that almost sounds like too good to be true. Like
Yeah.
in a sense, yeah.
That would be so sick because I like how it would actually. It's a good plot device to show us why incursions are so devastating, and
Okay,
just the
yeah,
nerdiness of X-Men versus Spider-Man. Because at some point, I would either, if that's true anyway, either one of those universes dies along with everyone else on that universe. A couple heroes make it out, or Doctor Doom comes down and says, "Yo, this is an incursion. This is what's going on. This is what we got to do." So, like, we get more information on the incursions, or that doesn't happen, and you see a universe die. So we know the devastation of an incursion. So then we know like why the Avengers have to take this so seriously.
yeah.
I think it would be so sick. It'd be so cool if we haven't. Tom Holland's not supposed to be in Doomsday. Big bummer. But what if Spider-Man is still in Doomsday? What if Toby just, his universe might die, but what if he tags along for the ride and helps us out? Just
That,
imagine. That'd be so sick. But yeah,
that would be
crazy.
awesome.
Yeah.
It'll
I
be interesting.
certainly don't see Toby as like a main character, right? Like high on the cast as
No.
far as screen time, but that would be cool. Anyway, anything else you got recent comics, or we could wrap it up?
Outside of like the Marvel and DC stuff, I would say check out Ghost Machines comics. They're also smaller company inside of Image, but they're coming out with some great stories like Geiger,
Yep, Red
um,
Geiger,
Rook Exodus, another great one.
Junkyard
Um,
Joe.
yep, I still got to read Junkyard Joe, but I heard that pulls on the heartstrings a little bit. And then Red Coat, I still got to check out Red Coat, but they're making a movie for that
Oh,
apparently.
wow.
So yeah, Ghost Machines popping off. I've seen a lot of people talk about it on both Instagram and TikTok. Fans love it. But it'd be great, for the wider audience to know that's still there.
Is Something Killing the Children still moving?
I haven't read that, but I think I saw something that they're gonna do a collab with Swamp Thing.
Yeah, Swamp Thing is killing the children. That sounds pretty cool. That sounds
Yeah.
really cool. If Tinian's writing it, especially.
Oh yeah. Aren't they up to issue like 40? They're pretty far along that series, I believe.
Yeah, that's the one indie I'm fully invested in. I like Geiger. I got that, but I got the full on hardcovers 1 and 2 of Something is Killing the Children. So I'm waiting for that third one. It's a beautiful hardcover. It's like thick. I think they each have 12 or 15 issues. Thick, nice hardcover, man. That story just really drew me in. It's very Stranger Things, but then
Okay.
also has it's like, as far as villains go, better. I love the hierarchy of the masked people. That's what's going on. You said you haven't read it, but it's great. You would like it.
Cool.
And yeah, Ghost Machine. That's Jeff Johns' like creation, right?
Yep. That's all
So
his.
full on, no studio interference. He's creating his own comic book world. And Geiger is really cool. Plus Gary Frank on art. Jeff
Oh yeah.
Johns and Gary Frank are just one of the best duos
Great
ever.
duo.
Yeah. So Geiger Volume 1 and 2 came out. Is that still cooking?
Yes. So Geiger, I believe they're up to issue 20.
I'm gonna see if Volume 3 is coming out soon.
I think they're up to the volume 4 in trades.
Oh, nice.
But from what I know, Geiger Volume 1 came out in 2021, kind of just like the original story. I don't think they were planning to do anything more with that. I think they saw a lot of love for it. Then they continued. Volume 2 is another issue 1, but that came out in 2024, and then that's where they continued from.
Gotcha.
But no, Geiger's definitely one of my favorite indie books for sure.
Yeah, it's cool. I like the character. The green ghost flame guy is really cool. What's his name again?
Tariq Geiger, the glowing man.
It's pretty sick.
Yeah.
So now I kind of want to see the universe expand. Like, I want some new, really cool characters. Some of the villains I think are like really annoying.
They're a little, just like these, I guess, these kings and queens that
Yeah, like Victorian era weirdos.
Yeah.
That's all right. That's all right, because you need a good villain, man. You need a good villain. Spider-Man:
Definitely.
Brand New Day, by the way, just neat. I really hope they have an amazing villain. And it popped up into my head. Last note: you're a Star Wars guy.
A little bit, yeah.
Are you pumped at all for Mandalorian and Grogu? Because I
Oh,
was
for
making
sure.
a case the other day where they literally need like the best Star Wars villain that we've seen since shit. I don't know, maybe even the prequels, I guess. So they
Yeah,
need that movie specifically needs a great Star Wars villain.
I agree. That's probably my favorite Star Wars property out of them all. Like that first season, even the second season, that like really draw me in. Like I rewatched that a ton. Um, I just like bounty hunters as a whole. Um, my dad's huge Star Wars fan, so he kind of that bled into me a little bit. But I'm excited for it. It'll be interesting. The only thing I've seen with it is that that guy from the Bear is Jabba the Hutt's son.
Yeah,
So that's an interesting aspect.
Jeremy Allen White. Yeah,
Yep. Um,
that's weird.
but there's no trailer for that, right? I feel like there hasn't
There
been
is
much.
a trailer. It came out like a couple weeks ago,
Oh, okay,
but it was okay, man. I want it to be really good, I do. But I just, as long as it's not another just a glorified Mandalorian and Grogu episode or Mandalorian episode, I should say, because I don't. They're gonna need to do something pretty special for it not to feel like that.
for sure,
Yeah,
definitely,
Thrawn. I'm looking forward to Thrawn being kind of built up a little bit because him being a villain in one of these next movies, I'm excited about. Thrawn is an incredible character. I think he's new and unique to the big screen and very different for the Empire. His methods and his presence is so different from any villain. He could be he could be one of the great villains if they don't make a goofy ass Star Wars movie that doesn't hit the nail on the head.
I was gonna say, do you think they're gonna build up to something like you know, like an Infinity War kind of story where all these stories build up to them going against Thrawn in the
It's
future?
supposed to be the plan.
Okay,
Thrawn's movie, it's like maybe Ahsoka season 2 will come out before that, but Mandalorian and Grogu, Ahsoka, and they are supposed to have a climactic movie with Thrawn as the main villain. It's just the creative head was switched up. Now it is Dave Filoni, and I think recently they just released some kind of post that maybe insinuated that they are holding off on that big event film to figure things out and get more excitement building, maybe. But we'll see. There's more technical difficulties, but that's the end of the episode. We'll see if Spidey could log back in and uh, say goodbye. There he is. There he is.
there we go.
What's up?
I think
That's
I
all right.
fixed it.
We're ending it
Dang,
anyway. So, but way
sorry, I
to
can't
say
hear
goodbye.
anything. Um,
Do you hear me? That's okay.
all right, I
Do
hear
you
you now, but my screen's blank.
That's okay.
All right,
We're
there we
wrapping
go.
up anyway. So
Okay, cool.
go follow. It's at Spidey Collects, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. Thanks for coming on, dude. Had a lot of fun talking Spider-Man comics, all the good stuff. So appreciate
Of
it.
course, appreciate you having me on here. I had a ton of fun, so thank you guys. Thank you for having me.
Hell yeah. We'll talk to you soon. And thank you all for joining us. We will see you next time.